TED Talk, I want to talk about something that is very important to me. As some of you may know, I'm vegan, and that's what I will be talking about today. I've been vegan for 3 months now, which to me is one of my biggest accomplishments. Before I became vegan and people told me that they were vegan or vegetarian, I thought it was crazy not to eat meat. I also thought that vegan and vegetarian were the same thing. So first I will tell you the definition of vegetarian and the definition of vegan. First, a vegetarian is someone who does not eat animal flesh, and a vegan is someone who does not consume or use animal products. Just to clarify, I'm not saying that one is better than the other because both save millions of animals per year. So as a vegan, I do not eat eggs, milk, cheese, butter, or any other dairy products, honey, and of course, no meat. Nobody's perfect though, so I try not to wear things that are made of animals or tested on animals. Honey is one thing that people ask about a lot. Why don't you eat honey? Bees aren't killed for honey, but really they are. Did you know that bees actually need their honey to survive? Beekeepers take the honey away from the bees and replace it with sugar water to try to mimic the honey. But because it doesn't have the nutrients that honey does, the bees can't survive off of it. Another thing that people ask a lot is why don't vegans eat eggs? Before I start talking about eggs, I just wanted to mention that I will not be focusing too much on how we get animal meat. I will talk about it a little bit later, but most people already know how we get it, so I don't think I need to go into much detail. That leads me to a question that I wanted to ask you. What's the cost of an egg? Yes?
10 or 20 cents?
Yeah, roughly. An egg is a couple of cents. That's the price though. But what's the cost? I'd like to tell you a couple things I've learned about the egg industry. Some of the things I will talk about are very sad, just so you are prepared. At just a few days old, a large portion of each hen's beak is cut off with a burning hot blade so they won't peck at their eggs, and no painkillers are used. Many birds, unable to eat because of the pain, die from dehydration and weakened immune systems. After enduring these manipulations, hens are shoved into tiny wire battery cages, which measure roughly 18 by 20 inches and hold up to 10 hens, each of who have a wingspan of 32 inches. Even in the best case scenario, each hen will spend the rest of her life crowded in a space about the size of a file drawer with at least 4 other hens, unable to lift even a single wing. Male chicks, just like these, the ones we used to watch grow up in kindergarten, are worthless to the egg industry. So every year, millions of them are tossed into trash bags to suffocate or thrown into high-speed grinders called macerators, while they are still alive. This sounds like a terrible way to die to me, especially after only a couple days of life. But it's no better for the hens. After 2 years of torture, lack of food, and lack of nourishment, they die too, because their bodies cannot handle it anymore. A hen that is raised in a sanctuary or at someone's home with proper care will live on average 7 to 8 years, which means that chickens in egg factories only live a quarter of how long than they should live. One thing that was surprising to me when I became vegan was that when a chicken lays an egg and there's not a baby chick inside, they will eat what is inside the egg to get the nourishment back because they lost all of it when they laid the egg. That's why the farmers cut their beaks, so they can't eat the eggs. The next thing I will talk about is how we get our milk. I don't know if it's the same with everyone, but when I was younger, I always thought that cows just gave milk. I didn't really think about how it happened. So what I will be talking about next is how we get it. As you know, when a mother gives birth to a child, she starts to breastfeed. And when a child is old enough, they stop getting milk from their mother. In order to get more milk, a mother would have to give birth to more and more and more children. Do you think that a mother can really do that without her body giving up and no longer functioning? Well, she can't. And guess what? Cows are the exact same. Farmers breed cows, take away the babies, and kill it so it can become your next hamburger, and then they take the milk from the cow so you can use it in your cereal. You want to know something else your mother and a mother cow have in common? If you got taken away from your parents, don't you think they would be upset and sad? Well, the cows are the exact same. When a farmer takes away a baby cow, the mother cow will cry out for them for day after painful day. The last thing I will talk about is how we get our meat. After I told one of my friends that I was vegan, One of the first things they said was, "You should be vegan. Animals are put on this planet for us to kill and eat." I was so shocked that they said this, I couldn't talk. Surprising, right? Someone actually thinks that another living, breathing being was put on this planet so we could slaughter it and have it for dinner. Considering that scientifically we're all animals as well, that's just like saying that my mother was put on this planet for a couple of tigers to share for dinner. You know all those laws that are set up to protect animal rights? Like, for example, everyone commits an offense who wisely causes or, being the owner, wisely permits to be any caused unnecessary pain, suffering, or injury to an animal or a bird. Or, everyone commits an offense who, in any manner, encourages, aids, or assists at the fighting or beating of animals or birds. Everyone commits an offense who, wisely, without responsible excuse, administers a poisonous or injurious drug or substance to a domestic animal or bird, or an animal or bird in the wild, by nature, that is kept in captivity, or being the owner of such animal or a bird, wisely permits a poisonous or an injurious drug or substance to be administered to it. Or, everyone commits an offense who promotes, arranges, conducts, assists in, receives money for, or takes part in any meeting, competition, exhibition, pastime, practice, display of event, or in the course of which captive birds are liberated by hand, trapped, or any other means of this purpose of being shot when they are liberated. Well, according to these laws, all the egg farmers should be arrested, right? Well, I don't see any egg farmers being arrested. Why? Well, there are two animals, a dog and a chicken. The dog we protect like there's no tomorrow. The chicken we protect like there's no one there. We tend to look the other way so we can get the eggs to make a cake or have a chicken sandwich for lunch. But if someone steps on our dog's paw by accident, we immediately consider suing. I know I've covered a few sensitive topics in this TED Talk, but I would like to say thank you for listening and paying attention to my speech.